So I'm trying to use these maps as evidence to show to what extent land alienation was a real thing in Kilimanjaro. When you just take the land that was available in the whole country of Tanzania and Tanganyika then, you might say maybe that was not a big problem. By focusing Kilimanjaro itself, Kilimanjaro alone, the land that was alienated was massive, and it made a lot of impact to the local population. I've come to Oxford to look at different materials. There are lots of materials in the library. To start with, there are manuscripts, archival documents, and some of these archival documents are nowhere else. They are only in the library, at Western Library. The colors you see in pink, those are the alienated lands. They were alienated for settler farms. But on the green side, you see the Kilimanjaro Forest Reserve. It is a forest reserve until now. But the top here, that is the mountain. Now Mountain Kilimanjaro is the highest mountain in Africa. Then between, you see this side, you see the areas that the local population owned. Now the local population were like squeezed at some area where they could not expand anywhere. They could not come top to the mountain or go down the lowlands because the lowlands were dry. The lowlands had more malaria than the highlands, so they could not expand anywhere. From 1000 to 1800, this is the area that was settled, and this is what was called Kihamba land. It's like looked at it like a sacred kind of land for everything, land for social and cultural practices, but also land used for burial. When anyone dies in the community, he's taken to the mountain to be buried there, above 1,000 meters. Below 1,000 meters, that is the lowland, and that is, to them, is the bad land, and they have different names for it, all names connoting bad land. The British colonial power tried to introduce some schemes, like irrigation schemes in the lowlands, but they didn't manage to influence people to move from the highlands to the lowlands. So what they failed to understand was only that land was not only the physical aspect. It had within it cultural aspects that were very important, even more than what we see as the physical land. What I'm looking for in these maps is the extent to which land alienation affected the local population. When you compare with the settler farms, ranches, it's easy to see also what remained for the people, for the increasing number of the population of the mountain. After the Second World War, especially from the 1950s, slowly people started to move themselves to the lowlands. Why? Because population was now increasing on the mountain. More land on the highlands was under coffee and banana production. Distributing land to sons was difficult because if you distribute it, it means you're not going to grow coffee, because that land would be, maybe somebody is going to build a house. These photographs in the Bodleian Library were taken from the 1920s up to 1950s. Using these photos in comparison with the maps, one can exactly see the changes, the physical changes on the environment. And for me as an environmental historian, this is very important. The lands that were bare, the lands that were not settled, the lands that were used for only seasonally, now these lands are densely populated.